are a group of animals that belong to the group Vertebrata, in which youngs are nourished with milk from special mammary glands of the mother. In addition to these characteristic milk glands, mammals are distinguished by several other unique features. Hair is a typical mammalian feature, although in many whales it has disappeared except in the fetal stage. The mammalian lower jaw is hinged directly to the skull instead of through a separate bone as in all other vertebrates. A chain of three tiny bones transmits sound waves across the middle ear. A muscular diaphragm separates the heart and the lungs from the abdominal cavity. Only the left aortic arch persists. Mature red blood cells or erythrocytes in all the mammals around the world lack a nucleus. All other vertebrates have nucleated red blood cells. Except for the monotremes, an egg-laying order of the mammals comprising of echidnas and the duck-billed platypus found in Australia. All mammals are viviparous. They bear live youngs. In the placental mammals, which have a placenta to facilitate nutrient and waste exchange between the mother and the developing fetus, the young are carried within the mother's womb, reaching a relatively advanced stage of development before birth. In the marsupials, for example, kangaroos, opossums, and wallabies, the newborns are incompletely developed at birth and continue to develop outside the womb, attaching themselves to the female's body in the area of her mammary glands. Some marsupials have a pouch-like structure or fold, the marsupium, that shelters the suckling young. The class Mammalia is worldwide in distribution. It has been said that mammals have a wide distribution and are more adaptable than any other single class of animals, with the exception of certain less complex forms such as arachnids and insects. The versatility in exploiting Earth is attributed in large part to the ability of the mammals to regulate their body temperatures and internal environment both in excessive heat and aridity as also in severe cold. The evolution of class Mammalia has produced tremendous diversity in form and habit. Living kinds range in size from bat weighing less than a gram and tiny shoes only a few grams in weight to the largest animal that has ever lived, the blue whale, which reaches a length of more than 30 meters or 100 feet and weighs around 180 metric tons. Every major habitat has been exploited by mammals that can swim, fly, run, burrow, glide, or climb. There are more than 5,500 species of living mammals today on this planet, arranged in about 125 families, as many as 27 to 29 orders. The rodents are the most numerous of existing mammals in both number of species and number of individuals and are one of the most diverse of living lineages. In contrast, the order Tubulidentata is represented by a single living species, the aardvark. The Uranotheria, elephants and their kin, and the Perissodactyla, like horses and rhinoceros and their kin, are examples of order in which far greater diversity occurred in the late Paleogene and Neogene periods, about 30 million to about 3 million years ago. The greatest present-day diversity is seen in continental tropical regions, although members of the class Mammalia live on all major landmasses around the planet. Mammals can also be found in many oceanic islands, which are principally but by no means exclusively inhabited by bats. Major regional fauna can be identified. These resulted in large part of evolution in comparative isolation of stock of early mammals that reached these areas. South America, the Neotropics, for example, were separated from North America, the Nearctic, about 65 to 2.5 million years ago. Mammalian groups that had reached South America before the break between the continents, or some that island hopped after the break, evolved independently from relatives that remained in North America. Some of the later forms became extinct as the result of competition with more advanced groups, whereas those in South America flourished, some radiating to the extent that they have successfully competed with invaders since the rejoining of the two continents. Australia provides a parallel case of early isolation and adaptive radiation of mammals, although it differs in Australia, was not later connected to other landmasses. The placental mammals that reach Australia evidently did so by island hopping long after the adaptive radiation of the mammals isolated early on. In contrast, North America as well as Eurasia, the Palearctic, are separate landmasses but have closely related faunas as a result of having been connected several times during the Pleistocene epoch, which is around 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago and earlier across the Bering Strait. Their fauna is frequently thought of representing not two distinct units but one, related to such a degree that a single name, Holoarctic, is applied for it. Wild and domesticated mammals are so interlocked with our political and social history that it is impractical to attempt to assess the relationship in precise economic terms. Through our own evolution, for example, humans, who are also mammals, have depended on the other mammals for food and clothing. Domestication of mammals helped to provide source of protein for ever-increasing human populations, providing means of transportation and heavy work as well. Today, domesticated strains of house mouse, European rabbit, guinea pig, hamster, gerbil, and other species provide much needed laboratory subjects for the study of human related physiology, psychology, and variety of diseases from dental caries to cancer, as well as serving as pets for recreation and joy. The study of non human primates has opened broad new areas of research relevant to human welfare. The care of domestic and captive mammals is, of course, the basis of the practice of veterinary medicine. Wild mammals are a major source of food in some parts of the world and in many different kinds. From freed bats and armadillos to whales are captured and eaten by various cultural groups. In addition, hunting, primarily for sport, that includes rodents, lagomorphs, carnivores, and ungulates, is a multi-million or a multi-billion dollar enterprise. In the United States alone, for example, it is estimated that more than 2 million deer are harvested annually by licensed hunters. Geopolitically, the quest for marine mammals was responsible for the charting of a number of areas in both Arctic and Antarctic regions. The presence of terrestrial fur-bearers, particularly beavers and several species of mustelid carnivores, was one of the principal motivations for the opening of the American West, Alaska, and the Siberian taiga. Ranch-raised animals such as mink, fox, and chinchilla are also important to fur industry, which directly and indirectly accounts for many millions of dollars in revenue for each year in North America alone. Some mammals are directly detrimental to human activities. House rats and mice of Old World origin now occur virtually throughout the world and each year cause substantial loss and damage. Herbivore animals may eat or trample crops and compete with livestock for food. Native carnivores sometimes prey on domestic herds. Many large mammals have been expatriated entirely or exist today only in parks and zoos. Others are in danger of extinction, and their plight is receiving increased attention from a number of conservation agencies. The single greatest threat to all the mammals is the continued destruction of their habitat. However, many species are also aggressively hunted. The IUCN, or the International Union for Conservation of Nature, classifies each imperiled mammal into one of the following categories: near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, and possibly extinct or extinct in the wild. One of the few noteworthy cases of direct expatriation by man is the stellar sea cow, as well as inoffensive marine mammals evidently lived only up to the coast and shallow bays of the Komandor Islands and the Bering Sea. Of final note is the aesthetic value of wild mammals and the relatively recent expense of considerable energy and resource to study and, if possible, conserve vanishing species, to set aside natural areas where native floral and faunal animals can exist in an otherwise highly agriculturalized or industrialized society, and to establish modern zoological parks and gardens. Such outdoor laboratories attract millions of visitors annually and will provide means by which present and future generations of humans can appreciate and study in small measures at least other kinds of mammal. Shoykot Kumar Basu, Bureau Report, Kalinga Chronicle TV.